ये देखो पीछे।
तो ये आप मतलब कितने महीने में एक बार करते हो, हफ्ते में एक बार करते हो?
डिपेंड करता है। रिकॉर्डिंग क्यों स्टार्ट कर दी अभी?
नहीं, स्टार्ट नहीं की, सॉरी, स्टॉप।
है ना ऐसे। ओ हेलो। हेलो रचना, वेलकम। आप म्यूट हो। रचना
Yeah,
प्लीज अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ।
yeah, I have unmuted. Hi, Jasmine, and good evening, Simran. If you can come back on the video. Hi,
Hi,
how
nice
are
to
you
see you.
doing?
All good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much. So how did the challenge go for you?
I just shared actually.
I don't think you attempted it.
Yeah, I didn't because I joined the group quite late, so I didn't had a view of what was being
No
shared
problem.
as a challenge.
You can take a look at it a little later in this presentation.
Yeah,
But then the forthcoming ones in the coming week, if you can spend a little time, they will help you. Right? You
sure.
are from which city?
I'm from Mumbai itself.
Oh, Mumbai. Which part of Mumbai?
I have been born and brought up here
Oh, okay.
in Mulund, so I have always been in Mumbai.
Is you're a Mumbaiker.
Yeah.
I'll just wait for another minute or so and wait to see if others are joining in.
How many more we are expecting?
Yeah. Just give me a second. I've had almost around 21, 22 entries. Let's see. Hi, Pallavi.
Hi, how are you?
Long time. How are you?
So many years now.
Many, many years now. How are you doing?
Very good, all well.
Good, great. I'm just waiting for another minute to see if somebody else is joining in.
Yeah, okay, I'll just connect something till then.
Yeah, sure.
The mobile is a stand.
So meanwhile, Simran, just wanted to ask you what got you interested in the challenge?
I'm yet to attempt one for sure, but I think it was an inquisitiveness to get more better at something which is a key in the corporate world for today.
What do you do? A little, if you could share about yourself.
I'm leading a global team based out of finance. It's with the leading MNC.
Okay.
So definitely interaction with people is a key part of my role.
Absolutely. And how is Pune, Pallavi?
Pune is getting warmer these days. Summer started.
Yeah. Mumbai, we are already in the summer season.
Yeah. True.
Pallavi, I know her from before. She's an old colleague and a very, very good friend of mine. But we lost connection for a very long time. I think almost 15, 20 years.
Oh, no, not that long. 10 years, 10 to 12 years.
10 to 12 years. No? Almost. Right. Okay, I think I'll start and we'll see how things are going. Somebody else joins in. Sundays, I always keep a session and then I find that people get busy with so many other things.
That's true.
Yeah. But that is the nature of, just a second. Are you able to see the presentation?
Yeah.
Yes.
Speaking.
Yeah. Jasmine, is it clear?
Hanji, it's visible. Restart.
Oh. Right. So wishing you both ladies, wonderful ladies, belated happy International Women's Day.
Wishing you too. Thank you, Rachna.
Thank you so much. Well, since the occasion demanded, I thought this was something I could extend to my fellow women, right? And let's see what we can do about that. Right. Pallavi, can I have you back on video?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so won't take too much of the time. So since both you, Pallavi, a little if you could share for Simran's and Jasmine's benefit, what do you do?
Okay. Hi, this is Pallavi. I am an HR head in an MNC. I am based in Pune and I'm working for last 20 years. The reason to join this is actually getting back connected to Rachna. That is the first objective.
Yeah, right. Welcome. So as you know, I'm sure you're aware, right? Most of the leadership failures stem from communication skills. Has this been an experience in your case or your working scenario?
Can say yes.
I beg your pardon?
Yeah, can say yes. I said it's always
Okay.
a situation.
What do you say, Simran?
Yeah, it's the core of everything. No matter how expert you are in which field, this is a core to it. So, not done properly can lead to failure.
Not done properly can lead to failure. In fact, there's a direct correlation between effective communication and leadership, what we term as effective leadership communication, and it can give you all these benefits, right? Better understanding, trust, good relationships, a good work environment, motivated employees, right? Team coordination, with at the end of it leads to excellent productivity, right? However, a lot of people confuse the two and they think getting into management is also, automatically makes them a leader, but that's not the case, right? And there is a very distinctive difference between the two. Managing is all about operational excellence, whereas leadership is about inspiring people. It is about giving them a purpose, giving them a mission, giving them a vision, right? And how do you bring this difference about? Is through the way you communicate with people, right? So communication is one key factor that brings out the difference between, or rather I would say that makes managers into leaders, right? Unfortunately, not many people know how to best use it. A little about myself. Pallavi knows me well, but anyways, so does Jasmine. But for your benefit, Simran, I'm here as a coach to share my own journey of my transformation, right? And it has been an exciting one. It has been a unique one. I started my career in academics as an academic professional, moved into administration, and then moved into trainings and went into corporate trainings, worked in HR. I worked as HR professional in corporates, was also teaching in some premier educational institutes, particularly management institutes. And eventually I'm here today as a coach myself. Now, why coaching for me? Because at one point of time when I was stuck, I found somebody who mentored me, coached me, and showed me the way. And I realized then the importance of what a mentor can do in your life. And this is my way of extending my gratitude to the universe, because even if in return, as a pay it forward, if I can make a difference in one soul's life, I think my job is done, right? Professionally, I have had a career of almost 3 decades as a trainer, as an HR professional. I've headed institutions in leadership and management roles. I've taught managerial communication, and then in the corporate sector, I have trained junior and mid-level managers, even the senior management. My last assignment was with JSW as head HR, right, where I was working in the domains of organization development and performance management and talent acquisition. And the last 2 years or so in which I have been on my own, I have coached in the last year or so more than 50 mid-level managers, right, through this program that I am currently running. So this is about me. A few facts that I want to share about communication. One is that it's the foundation of every human relationship. I'm sure you all agree with me, right? Right? And how does it help us? Of course, it helps us to build relationships. We share our experiences, we connect with others, we express our feelings, we pass on information. In fact, communication is the fundamental requirement. We exist, therefore we communicate, isn't it? In fact, if you walk into a room full of people and if you're ignored, you start wondering whether you really are visible to people or not, whether you exist or not. It is that fundamental, right? So we actually क्या बोलते हैं, हम दूसरों की आंखों में जीते हैं ना, बराबर है कि नहीं? तो हम लोगों की नजरों में जीते हैं, तो वो हमें एक्नॉलेज करते हैं तो हमें लगता है कि हाँ भाई हम हैं, नहीं तो फिर तो दिक्कत होने लगती है कि क्या हो गया, हम गायब तो नहीं हो गए, राइट? So it's a very fundamental need of human connection. The second fact is you cannot not communicate. There is no way, right? Just 1 second. Right? There is no way that you cannot not communicate. Many a times we think silence is not communication. See, which is our first communication in the world, Simran?
Our body language.
No. What is the first communication as you come into this world? You cry.
Yeah.
That's the first communication, right? You express whatever it is that you want to express at that time, whether it is, oh, where am I want food, whatever it is. The last communication we have is when we are, Pallavi?
Yeah.
Dead.
Sorry. Last?
Last communication that we have in this world is when we are dead, right?
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah, that's when you declare to the world, that's it. My game is over. I'm leaving now, right? So between the two ends, there is no way we stop communicating. Every behavior, every action, every little, twitch of your eye denotes some communication, right? So communication is present in every behavior of ours. And therefore, communication is considered to be a behavioral skill. It's a behavior-based skill. And therefore, it is directly connected to our attitudes, our self-belief, our self-worth, and our self-image. And therefore, one very important step in improving our communication skill is to first understand your own self, to understand where you spring from. What are your self-beliefs? What are your attitudes? What is your understanding of the world? What are your values, right? The more you go deeper into your own self, the better you will be able to externally communicate with people, right? And that is a very, very important thing which most people overlook. See, of all the skills, communication is the most empowering. How? Because it teaches us how to listen. We also, consciously or unconsciously, we absorb nonverbal cues and we respond to them, right? Many a times we find that people are talking to us, but what they're saying, their words are saying something different than what their body language is saying. And if you pay a little attention, you will realize that your response and reaction comes with the non-verbal cue stronger than that of what the verbal cue was. Because that's the way we are designed. We unconsciously or subconsciously respond to non-verbal cues. but we very rarely pay attention to those. In terms of the ability to read other people's nonverbal cues and to control your own and understand which are your patterns. To speak concisely, right? To the point. In today's world, speech is becoming, due to social media, it is becoming more and more constricted, right? We are using shortcuts, right? But whether it is becoming clear, that is questionable, right? So whether we can speak to the point, lucidly, clearly, we use stories, we use narratives. We are all storytellers, right? We all have a story to tell at every time, and they are effective. That's how we inspire and we transform people around us, right? It helps us to identify our shared values and needs with the people around us, which makes it easy for us to work with them and to use a language in such a way that influences and inspires people, right? Now, I want to ask you a few questions just to see how good is your communication, right? So I want you to give a little thought to each question that I ask, right? For example, the first one, do you know the difference between awkward silence and strategic silence? Can anybody tell me the difference?
Strategic silence is an intentional, whereas awkward is something not unexpected. Uh, it could be a surprise, or it could be something which one is not prepared for.
Yeah, so many a times we become silent because we really don't know what to say, right? But a strategic silence can be used for impact, it can be used for influence. We say even silence says something, right? Right? So, as you rightly said, Simran, strategic silence is an intentional one. But many times we find ourselves in a situation where we are in an awkward silence. The reasons could be many. Maybe lack of knowledge, lack of tact, we don't know how to approach the topic, or something has been said which is very sensitive and we don't know how to react, right? But most of the time it happens because we really don't know what to say, right? And that becomes an awkward silence. Are we at times aware that we are talking too much? Sometimes it happens. Does it happen, Pallavi?
Yes, it does.
It
If
does.
you observe the expressions of the opposite person, then you're talking excessively.
Right. Where people start looking up towards the sky. I hope you don't start doing in my presentation. But yeah, right. So can I talk to the point? Can I be very precise? Now, how does this happen? This happens when I have a clarity of thought. And therefore, these two things are very strongly related. My ability to think clearly is directly linked to my ability to communicate effectively. Because if I'm scattered here, my communication will also be pointless and scattered. Right? So again, it starts inward. To develop that ability of, cutting everything down to its bare bones, right? Would you consider yourself a good listener? One, and second, can you read between the lines? Because in listening, this is a very important aspect. To understand what is said, obviously, is there, it's out there. But can I understand the underlying messages? Can I read the subtext? Can I read between the lines? And it is responding to that makes your communication more effective, right? When you are able to understand those implications. Do you respond genuinely to others, or do you come across as a fake person? It's a very critical question. You must have also met so many people in your journey of life, and some people you say, "Arey, kya fake insaan hai yaar?" And some people are so genuine. Where do you connect strongly?
In articulation, responses, their body language, or eye connect.
Yeah, but you naturally connect faster and stronger to people who come across as genuine rather than the ones who you think are being a little fake, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the connection is stronger. It's easier to trust people. See, why is it important to be genuine? People will not connect with you unless and until they trust you. Trust is a very, very primary thing, fundamental thing that a communication, establishes. Right? It may not always be very overt. It is always covert, but it is there. And this establishing of trust is what brings you closer to people. This is what helps you to influence other people. Because inspiring and transformation will come much later, right? Unless and until people are influenced by you, they will not believe in you. But that influence will happen only when they trust your authenticity, your genuineness, right? And our communication reflects that very easily. Do you convey passion and amiability in your conversation? Does your energy show? Right? For example, if I sit here and I talk, okay, this is about communication, and this is what I'm. Would you want to sit in my presentation? I'm sure you will say, okay, tata, bye bye. I made a mistake, right? But I need to have that passion, and from where does that passion come? Because I believe in what I'm saying. And that is again related to the genuineness also, right? And the energy. Because people respond to energy, they don't respond to the body. We all have an aura. You agree with that? Right? And that, some people, the proximity to them makes us uncomfortable, whereas with some, we are so comfortable. What is it that is connecting us? It's the energy. If that energy doesn't vibe with you, if it is not genuine, if it is not in sync with you, you will not be comfortable with those people. Now, it's very important that we establish that, we dissipate that energy around us. And it has to come from us. It will come from within. It cannot be external. It is very much internal. How many people know you, respect you, and trust you? This has a direct correlation with influence. And if you have influence, only then you can inspire people, you can transform people. Right? What do leaders do? They influence people. We have influencers today, right? Why do we call them influencers? Because their opinion matters. What they say, we listen to them. We may agree, we may not agree, but we listen to them. Right? And many a times we trust them. And we base our decisions, our opinions, public opinion. How is public opinion created? It is created by this influence only. What do political leaders do? What do any leaders in any sphere, whether it is social, whether it is business? Today they sit and listen to Mr. Ambani and Mr. Adani. Why? Because of the influence that they hold over people, isn't it? And from where is that influence coming? आज के तारीख में कौन है जो अंबानी अडानी को नहीं जानता? In sheer numbers, huge, isn't it? They're a household name, right? Now, how is this coming? Through communication. I'm not saying they sit and address the people of the nation every day, but their communication comes through in so many ways. It comes through their organization, it comes through their policies, it comes through the way they run their business. Do you avoid sounding submissive in your interactions? Okay, when you talk to people, do you hold your own or are you submersive? Are you intimidated by people around you? Are you apologetic? You must have seen a lot of people have this tonality of being apologetic about everything that they say. Or they are not able to put across what they believe in openly. Does your personality exude liveliness and energy during conversations? Or is it that people just walk away from you, right? Because I'm sorry, I hear a lot of people who say, I find it very difficult to be in social interactions because I'm very boring. I have been given this feedback, I'm very boring. How do you counter that? Because I am so single-mindedly obsessed with only one area of my life. I don't read anything. I have no interests. I have no passions. I have no hobbies. I don't know anything I don't have a worldview. So what am I going to talk about? To become a good communicator, to become a good influencer, you need to know more than what is your subject matter or your domain. I see a lot of people who will say, no, this is not my area of interest. I'm not interested in politics. I'm not interested in this. I'm not interested in that. Okay, so what are you interested in? And then when you sit with them and, after 2 minutes, you're like, okay, abhi kya baat kare? And they also feel tongue-tied, ki ab kya baat kare? Right? That's not going to make you very influential. Can you effectively articulate your points with clarity and precision? It's again all about being to the point, the lucidity that I have. Can I cut down the clutter and pick the important points, the main points? Can I go to the crux of the matter and put it across? Am I mindful of the differences between styles when I'm talking to superiors and my subordinates? Do you agree that there is a difference in communication style? Huge difference.
Yes.
Right? And many a times what happens is when people are addressing superiors, they become subservient. And when they are talking to their subordinates, they become dominating. Both are damaging. Both are damaging. As a good communicator, this is not the done thing. Can you express your ideas and thoughts clearly and succinctly in any forum, whether it is one-to-one or a one-to-many? Right? So these are some questions which I want you to think about when you're assessing your communication skills, right? See, why communication is important. The first thing, it helps you in quick problem solving. It helps you in decision making. It helps you in productivity, increasing your productivity, consistency and competency, business relations. I don't have to tell these to both of you because you both are very well aware of this. Right? Where does this come from? Right? Yeah, better responses from stakeholders. See, there is a lower order thinking skills and higher order thinking skills. I'm sure you know that. I'm sure Pallavi definitely knows this, right? There is, applying, understanding, remembering. These three are considered as lower order skills. They require memorization. They do not require thinking skills, but analysis, evaluation, and creativity, right? These are considered as higher order thinking skills. And this is where communication comes, because here it doesn't matter. Because you are using recycled information anyways. But this is where you create your own personality. This is where you create your charisma. This is where you make a difference. Needless to say, right? Lower order thinking skills will bring out followers, but leaders come through higher order thinking skills. And the upward mobility in any area is caused when you are able to communicate as a leader. When you're able to communicate creativity, when you're able to communicate your evaluative abilities, when you can make the right judgments, and where you can analyze the situations and informations around you. Now, there are some myths about communication skills, right? Any coming to your mind? Simran?
Not immediately.
Okay. Pallavi?
No, not really.
No? Okay.
Rachna, may I say?
Yeah, please.
Thank you for. हाँ,
You were so much
आपने
in
तो
the dark,
speak
I
it.
thought you've gone to sleep. I'm sorry.
No.
Okay.
I'm listening
Yeah.
to it. So
Sorry if
I
I
think
may just check, Rachna, is this for 1 hour? Because I may
No,
have
no,
to
I have
drop.
just 2 more slides to go through. Just bear with me.
Okay.
Yeah. Jasmine, can we cut this short?
हाँ, cut it short.
Faster.
सबसे पहला myth है कि communication is a language.
Yeah, it's language based.
English
Right.
language,
Yeah.
specifically.
English. Very good point.
Yeah.
See, the most common myth is, and which I come across with a lot of my students share, oh, I'm not an extrovert. I don't speak very well. Right? Gift of the gab. I don't have the gift of the gab. Right? But gab is just gab. It doesn't have any weight. It's fluff. Right? So people think ज्यादा बात करने जो ज्यादा बात करते हैं वो अच्छी बात करते हैं. ऐसा जरूरी नहीं. The second is, as Jasmine said, you have to be, that's the third point. You have to be an extrovert to be a good communicator. Very often I hear a lot of my students saying, I'm an introvert, that's the problem. I'm very shy. That's okay. That's a personality. You can be shy, you can be extrovert, but it doesn't mean that your communication cannot carry weight. It doesn't mean that you cannot make an impact, because as and when you speak, you should be able to make an impact. The third is it requires good language. And in our country, it is more about English. So I get a lot of requests from people. I want to improve my communication skills. I want to learn English. Accent, the focus on accent is very, very important. I want to speak an American accent. Unless and until you are having a cross-cultural organization, okay, it is understandable. But still, that's just a myth. See, nothing can replace authenticity, nothing can replace genuineness, nothing can replace originality, right? No language can do that. And the last is communication should result in social harmony. किसी को बुरा नहीं लगना चाहिए. I shouldn't hurt anybody. Good communicators are never afraid to state an opinion which is contrary to what is floating in the room. You should have the courage to say that. But you should have the tact and the ability to also to say that. So there is no problem. Good communication doesn't mean agreeing with everybody. You can disagree, but you can still be in harmony with other people, right? You can respect somebody's opinion and get them to respect yours also. That is the sign of a good communicator. Now, in workplace, why do we need communication skills? For so many things. The most important, of course, is trust, because that is the foundation. If the trust is missing, no stakeholder is going to work with you, internal or external. Everything else is, of course, work-oriented, but then it stems from trust. So I want to leave you with this one thought. If you just communicate, you can get by. You're managing. Your work is not stopping. But if you know to communicate skillfully, that is where you can work miracles. Think about it, right? Now, this was today's challenge, Simran. This was a communication loop where I wanted you to rate yourself in these different areas. I'm sure you can do that. Pallavi, what did you understand from this challenge? You're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. This was about rating ourselves into these areas of communication. For example, how clearly you are able to communicate. How's your written communication? Is that right?
Yeah. So these are different skills, and I wanted you to rate. You can do it right now, also, Simran, right? And a lot of people came out with something like this. Just give me a minute. I'll just. Yeah. Can you see this clearly?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, overtly, the very obvious message from this activity was to give you an understanding of what are the different skills. See, communication is a very broad word, but I wanted it to be broken down into what are the different aspects of communication and where do you stand? How often are you using them? Right? But there is also a hidden message, Pallavi. Could you figure that out?
No.
Okay. Can you look at this circle?
Yeah.
Yeah. Simran, 2 minutes. Can you be on video? Yeah.
I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. I have to drop because of something. I have my daughter's finals exam, so there's a
1 minute.
sensitivity at home to.
Just tell me, will this circle move the way it is? No, right?
Oh.
It's going to eventually run into bumps, right? So the hidden message is for you to assess how are you are you using it to the maximum? So where are the gaps, right? This is what the whole message was. And so just the forthcoming 6 days, please do the other challenges, Simran, because they'll give you an insight, I'm sure. And we'll meet again on Saturday, again at 8 o'clock for a closing webinar, right? Where we'll kind of bring everything together. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay, you can leave, Simran, if you wish.
Thank you. Sorry
Thank
for that.
Sorry,
Thanks.
no problem. Yes, Pallavi, how are you?
Very good.
I just want to stop the recording.
Rashmi is also